a personal blessing, as implied by the text, would typically be documented or referenced in official Vatican logs, especially for controversial figures like Epstein giving his later notoriety. Donald, what happened to drain the swamp? Because it seems like you guys are being drowned by the swamp right now. That's what it seems like. It seems like you're being Chinese water tortured with the swamp water of the unelected bureaucrats that you were meant to directly go against. No bullshit, 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 no bullshit, bullshit. Aw, jeez.
All right, you guys, happy Monday. And I don't know that I am ever going to be able to forgive Trump for making me do what I'm about to do. The unthinkable. I am going to have to defend Barack Obama. I can't believe this. That's how bad the fallout is right now over Jeffrey Epstein. It just continues. And Trump seems to be hitting rock bottom in terms of communicating on this.
Trump is full of shit. He's full of shit in the way that he handled it. There's nothing that makes me more frustrated than retarded when liberals call Trump supporters bootlickers, which doesn't make any sense fundamentally, because to be a Trump supporter, you have to go against the grain of social acceptance. So that, like, by definition is not being a bootlicker. Oh, but when people when Trump says some horse shit and just expects you to believe it, and then conservatives are like, okay, guys, all right, guys, let's take a step back, okay? Trump said it, so let's just shut our mouths and just eat the horse shit. Let's just eat it up with a big ass spoon and shove the freaking spoon so far down our tonsils until we gag and then lose our gag reflex and keep sucking the Trump. Because there are boomers especially that are like, guys, he's saving kids. Guys, he's doing so much good with the FBI. We know that. We know Trump is a great president. We know he's doing great diplomacy in the Middle East. We know that he's ending conflicts. This is bigger than that. Not that any of that stuff is any less important, but to psyop us in saying that we need to just shut up and accept the narrative that everything that you said all of a sudden doesn't exist anymore is retarded. Why should anybody accept that? Exactly. We literally far from bootlicking. We just hold everyone accountable. Exactly. But there are Trump supporters that definitionally are bootlickers. Because I saw a video of this old ass white man on Threads of all places. And he was saying that Trump has been such a phenomenal president. He's done so much good that we shouldn't be distracted by the Epstein files. Excuse me, old ass white man. I don't find the largest, most well-documented child sex trafficking organization with world leaders and billionaires that was organized and went on for over a decade, and then try to psyop society into believing that the man responsible just decided to kill himself. How stupid do you think we have to be to just accept that? That's not a distraction. That's a cover-up.
This particular topic, and I'm looking back and I want Covfefe Trump back. Covfefe Trump back. That guy seems to be gone. Also, you guys, I'm kind of worried about Tucker Carlson's life, and I'll tell you why. Welcome back to Candace.
Let's talk about it. I think Catholicism is weird. So the only thing I disagree with about Candace is pretty much Catholicism.
Where do we begin? Okay, I think
aside from that, she's pretty much
should at first start
spot
with a
on
montage
always.
That was actually put together by Breakthrough News. It's good to do this just to remind ourselves that we're not going crazy on the topic of Epstein. Take a listen.
How is it that my father can be convicted of 34 crimes, but no one on Epstein's list has even been brought to light? I'm trying to figure out how that's possible, right, Buck? It's almost like they're trying to protect those pedophiles for some reason. I can't imagine why, right?
Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale pederast in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list.
Everybody in politics has a vice that's much worse than alcoholism, is the way that I put it. But we
release the list.
Seriously, we need to release the.
It's not funny, JD Vance.
Thing.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
So all these old dumbass boomers and these people that have just this undying loyalty for the Trump administration will see videos like this. No, Trump didn't do this. His people, he didn't run on Epstein. Okay. Whatever helps you sleep at night, retard.
That's been a directive by President Trump.
In this case, in Epstein's case, it is incredibly disturbing. We have flight logs, we have information, names that will come out.
I'm not ever going to let this story go because of what I heard from a source about Bill Clinton on a plane with Jeffrey Epstein. I'm not letting it go ever. Ever.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years.
This is the worst clip of. This is worse than Grab Her by the Pussy, in my opinion. This is worse than that. How could you say this? And then also, years ago, you brought up Bill Clinton's name in relation to Epstein and Prince Andrew. And now we just need to shut up. Bull.
You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable.
All of these people are in power now. All of these people could certainly release the quote-unquote list. Is it exactly a list? Is it a network of contacts? Is it video footage?
Dude,
of
it's
people that
hey, what's up,
can
Jess? How you
children?
doing,
We
Brody?
don't know, and we may never know, which is leading some people to ask the question, like, is Trump actually in the Epstein file?
That is, well. Yeah, I have work at 2:30. It's 12:12 my time, so I wasn't doing anything. I just got back from a doctor's appointment for my insomnia, so I was like, you know what? I'm not lifting today, so let me react to some stuff that I was really interested in. But that is absolutely the worst clip of President Trump I think that exists. I think the top 3 worst ones that I've ever seen, that one's number 1 for sure. Because I'm not a retard. So there's that one. And then there is Grab Her by the Pussy. And then there's Trump in 2002 saying Epstein is a terrific guy. He likes women on the younger side like I do. Those are the top 3 worst ones. Like, this is what I want to do full time. This is my dream. I love talking about political and social issues and giving my opinion on shit. Literally my life goal is to be Asmongold. I want to wake up in the morning, turn my computer on, and just give my opinion on shit. Just talk about stuff. So whether it's politics, social issues, political people, scandals, conspiracies, video games, anime, movies, pop culture. I just like talking about shit. I'm just an opinionated dude. Bad hygiene and smell. Oh. Yeah, I also want to like lose half of my teeth and like rub the blood on my walls and never change my sheets and have like dead animals in my attic. No, that's the one thing I definitely don't want to adopt to him.
Yeah, because I can't reconcile this Donald Trump with the Trump that we're seeing right now, the Trump that is gaslighting the public right now, the Trump that I voted for across multiple elections. The Epstein scandal is definitely terminal cancer to Trump's MAGA movement. There's no question about that. I actually said to my husband this week, and we were talking about it, that in order for Trump to get out of this is how bad it is, in order for him to actually make the MAGA base forget this, like potentially move on from Jeffrey Epstein, he would essentially have to come right out and repeal income tax in the United States. And then we would be extremely happy. Everyone would be very happy. And then we'd go, actually, thanks, Trump, but we still remember the Epstein scandal.
Exactly.
The list. That's how bad it is. There's just no making anybody forget about this Epstein scandal. It's a major fumble. And I want to be very clear, Trump's team knows that. Everything they are doing right now indicates that they are in panic, a full-blown panic. And what I mean when I say Trump's team, I kind of mean the Zionists that are around Trump and have been kind of running everything behind the scenes. Now let's back up here because in case you...
What does she mean by that? What does she mean by the Zionists running the scenes? I feel like there's been like a collective hopelessness of having presidents that are useless, that do nothing, to think that these people that we elect don't actually have power. And I think that's bullshit. I think there very much is an overwhelming amount of power that any world leader truly has. But I mean, Candace has been doing this for a really long time. I'm sure she knows a lot of stuff that I don't. I would love for her to expand on that.
You missed it over the weekend. The first thing that transpired was
because one thing I don't think Candace is a liar.
That the footage, remember, it's supposed to be the raw footage from Jeffrey Epstein's cell. This is so transparent. You can watch this footage yourself. We're dropping 10 hours of raw footage for you to climb through.
You know what I'm gonna do?
You've never broken a bone.
I keep talking about getting an ad blocker. As soon as I get off of here, I'm gonna set a reminder on my phone that as soon as I get home tonight after work, I'm going to go on Chrome and find just whatever the best ad blocker is and just use it. The episode was 211. If you want to hear about what she means about that, maybe. Oh, yeah, I don't have time today, sadly. But I'll definitely watch episode 211. There's very clearly financial influence by Israel. I don't just think it's financial. My chat just went away. What the hell? There we go. I think there's other things as well.
Oh, actually, the footage was edited.
The only thing I really don't like is the fact that questioning why we have such an intimate relationship with Israel. Why can't you just ask the question? Why is that taboo?
Here's the story that broke and trended over this weekend. The headline is coming from Wired, and it tells us that the metadata shows
it was obviously
FBI's,
modified.
Raw Jeffrey Epstein prison video was likely modified. Now, we've gone over what metadata is for those of you that are not up on your computer literacy, but we looked at this, the Justin Baldoni case. You can kind of go in and see when certain files were uploaded, learn about the path of those files.
Dave Portnoy, is that the one bite pizza guy?
That was embedded into the video at Wired. Took a look at this.
I saw him interview Andrew Tate a couple years ago, and he sounded like a baby back. I like his pizza videos, but
analyzed it.
Aside from that,
their forensic experts concluded that rather than this being some direct export, which it would have to be raw footage from the prison surveillance system, the footage was modified. Essentially, it looked to them that they had uploaded footage into Adobe Premiere Pro and that the files then were assembled from at least 2 source clips. Then it was saved multiple times, and then it was exported, and then it was uploaded to the DOJ's website, where it was presented as if it was not touched at all. Now, the experts say that it's not exactly clear what was changed, why it was changed. Doesn't mean that it's necessarily definitively deceptive manipulation, but it definitely leads to some questions asked, which one of the biggest questions is, why did they lie?
If it's not deceptively, why couldn't they have disclosed that they put it through Adobe Premiere? They could have said that maybe the sound was off, maybe the aspect ratio didn't fit the format that they had to upload it in, maybe they had to render it in a different file, maybe it was like an MKV format and then they had to like make it MP4. Like there's a lot of different reasons why it could have needed to go through Adobe Premiere, but don't run it through an editing software and then tell everybody that it's completely unedited. That's like, don't say we're going to lead with transparency and then do something that is by definition non-transparent. He went off on an employee because the employee said, "We should be able to make fun and joke about Jews." Dave screamed at him, "How many Jews have to die because of your joke?" What the hell? If he was talking about like Hitler jokes or Holocaust jokes, I wouldn't joke about that personally. I feel like it's just kind of like dirty and gross to joke about. If that's what he was talking about specifically, I understand the crash out. But if he was not talking about that specifically at all, and his point was, don't talk about them, that's bull.
Why are
that's
they
straight up
lying?
bull.
Why refer to it as raw footage if you know that it was uploaded into a software? Maybe they just put 2 clips together, but why did you put those 2 clips together? Again,
if you get offended at racial stereotype jokes, you're a pussy, and you have no place in a normal civilized society. Just look at how the world was in like 2003 or 2005. Like look at Rush Hour. Like the Rush Hour movies is like comedy gold. Why? Because Jackie Chan said the N-word. Who cares? It's funny. Stereotypes are funny. Stereotypes are based in some aspect of truth. If saying like Jews are cheap or something, or just really conservative with their finances, is offensive to you, you're just a pussy.
And they're
just shut
saying, Wired, that the absence of the clear explanation for what they use to process the file is complicating the DOJ narrative. And there are a lot of red flags that keep adding up here, right? If you're paying attention,
I'm glad you're agree, Senor.
foremost, the prison footage that they released, if they actually wanted to be transparent, again, pardon me and my common sense here, but if they wanted to be transparent, shouldn't we have seen in that footage some prison guards or correctional officers sprinting to his cell? Once they got the call and they realized that somebody had committed suicide, it would have been, I think it would have been prudent for them to release footage of a bunch of people chaotically running towards the cell. Because you might say, oh, well, they didn't want to show footage of him being pulled out of the cell because, you know, that footage it's really hard to take a look at. It's a dead person. That's way too much. Let me remind you that they already showed us dead Jeffrey Epstein. 60 Minutes did a whole special on it, and they showed who they're alleging is Jeffrey Epstein to, you know, put the public conspiracy theories to bed. This is him, bloodied, bruised. This shows, you know, the noose that was around his neck. 60 Minutes already did that. So why didn't the DOJ show us just a little bit more action? Instead, what they presented to the public was footage.
It's obvious why they didn't, because they're full of shit. Something so bizarre and so sinister is going on. I have no idea what it is. I don't even have a speculation about what it is. Whatever, like Donald, what happened to drain the swamp? Because it seems like you guys are being drowned by the swamp right now. That's what it seems like. It seems like you're being Chinese water tortured with the swamp water of the unelected bureaucrats that you were meant to directly go against. Now, I don't know how deep the rabbit hole goes. I don't know how much power these unelected bureaucrats have. I'm sure it's a lot. But then again, Trump, don't talk like such a gangster, and don't talk like you have just this impunity to do whatever you want. And then as soon as the deep state threatens you, you want to roach out on your people and then make us out to be retards. Don't worry about it. It's not real. Democrats made it. Deep state. Move on. No. That's not how this works, Donald. Absolutely not. I didn't make all these damn videos running defense for your ass for you to then tell me that I need to be an ignorant doofus and just follow along the status quo like the Democrats do. I voted for you to destroy the system, not be complicit in its aid. The system is corrupt. TJX spin. Appreciate you, bro. I'm getting the ad blocker, bro.
Begins at
I'm doing
4 p.m. Eastern, the night before he commits suicide on August 9th, and it lasts until 6:40 a.m. on the 10th. Why? Why did they choose that 10-hour window?
Oh, because that's the one where nothing happened in it?
Clear explanation as to why there was a minute of footage missing.
How convenient.
Pam Bondi told us something ridiculous. It made no sense. It was honestly...
Exactly.
Well, you know, sometimes every night they take away a minute, and they've been doing that for a long time. And I'm looking for clarity as to why that is, but we'll circle back. It was a Jen Psaki kind of response. Okay, so this leads to the bigger question here, which is, did Jeffrey Epstein actually kill himself?
Okay, so I think the reason why I believe, the only part of this retarded story that I believe is the fact that 1 minute is missing from like the beginning and the ending of the recording. The reason why I believe that is because I used to do security, and funny enough, it was at a hospital. And the way that the cameras were so old, the whole system was so archaic, that there were weird things like that like whenever we had to restart the cameras or if one of them went out, there was a weird delay. and it's just old ass non-updated technology. So that's the only reason why I buy that aspect of the story. It could be bullshit, but it tracks logically from my own anecdotal personal life experience.
Or did he make an escape? Or did somebody enter his cell and murder him? Those are really the only three options that the public has.
I'm in the economic state where I make too much to qualify for any sort of assistance, but I don't make enough to comfortably pay my bills, so I'm just fucked.
And given a lot of the fumbling that's happening here with Epstein Ball, I think we have the right to again examine those questions and try to get some answers. Okay? We should back this up so that you can truly comprehend how completely asinine everything they are telling us is. And you probably need to be refreshed on what actually took place on that day that Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide. Also, even the few weeks before that, when he actually was taken
built on Windows 95. That's tragic. That's tragic.
into custody. Okay, so let's go back to 2019. Okay, a few weeks before his mysterious death, on July 6th, 2019, Jeffrey Epstein is arrested on federal charges related to sex trafficking. Okay, he was taken into custody.
Exactly.
His plane lands in Teterboro Airport in New Jersey, and he's returning from Paris, no less. Don't even get me started. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We will bring you that Epstein Parisian series with Xavier Poussard. But he's coming back, and he lands, and they arrest him in Teterboro Airport. And after he's arrested, they immediately assign him to the special housing unit. And the reason that they give the public is because...
Also, remember what Elon said when he was still involved and doing everything with Doge? Is he was like, these computers are so old and this shit is so archaic. Like, there's no... I think he insinuated that, like, they keep the stuff that old so they can keep, like, relying on the cop-out excuse of, oh, it's old-ass technology, there's no paper trail, there's no way for us to know where $900 billion went over the course of 4 years. We have no idea why, what's that one old bat's name? I can visualize her face, but that one congresswoman, who makes like whose salary is like $250,000, but her net worth is like over 250 million. I forgot her name. Nancy Pelosi. Yes. I feel like those people are complicit in keeping everything archaic so they can keep taking advantage of that archaic technology.
Jeffrey Epstein, we want to make sure that he's kept safe, so he's going into a special housing unit. And by the way, knowing what we know about his previous arrests and the special housing circumstances of that sheriff's office in Miami,
the government. Got you. Of course they can. They're the ones that print the money in the first place.
He's expecting to be put somewhere separate.
They have all this old-ass technology on purpose. They do it just to continue taking advantage of it and continue deepening themselves and plunging themselves further and further into corruption that fucks over the American people.
From the rest of the prisoners. Something that I've always noticed about Jeffrey Epstein that's very off-putting and kind of puts a chill down my spine is how confident he always was. That smirk that was always on his face. We saw that smirk when he was a teacher. We see that smirk. It's like Jeffrey Epstein knew in this way that he was never
this is a sick nigga, bro.
Actually going to be held accountable. No matter what footage you see of Jeffrey Epstein,
that's an evil-looking man.
He's not exactly fearful of the legislative system. He's not fearful that he's going to get in trouble. So when you fast forward to the morning where he allegedly kills himself, that is on August 10th, again, just a few weeks after his arrest, given everything we know about how powerful Jeffrey Epstein...
Candace, I know that... I don't know who is in charge of placing the ads, because I know that she doesn't upload or edit any of these videos herself. The fact that it's not even 11 minutes into this hour-long video, and I've been hit with like 4 ads is crazy.
Was how powerful his connections are. He knows everybody, right? Jeffrey Epstein, by the way, is from New York, pulled up, right? Everybody from finance executives to politicians know Jeffrey Epstein. The conclusion here is already quite strange. It's quite strange that we know a few weeks after his arrest he's going to commit suicide, because if you're Jeffrey Epstein and you know everybody, so much so that back in 2007, you virtually got off with sex trafficking, right? And this time in 2009, what he's being charged with is less. He's being charged, again, sex trafficking of minors, conspiracy to commit sex trafficking of those minors between 2002 and 2025. But to him, you just beat charges with a bogus pretend plea deal where you were able...
This seems like some bullshit to me!
That was specially designed for you. They were hanging up TVs for you. You were allowed work release for 12 hours a day. You were so powerful, you made the officers dress up in suits as they took you off campus to your office.
Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell being personally blessed by the Pope. Are you telling me that the Catholic Church is complicit in child sex trafficking? What the hell is going on? Is this real? Hold the damn phone. Is this image and text factual? The image and text claiming that Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell were personally blessed by the Pope are not definitively factual based on available historical records. The photograph appears to show an elderly figure in papal attire, likely Pope John Paul II, who served from 1978 to 2005, interacting with two individuals who resemble Epstein and Maxwell. However, there's no credible evidence or official documentation from the Vatican or other reliable sources confirming that such a blessing occurred. How convenient! How convenient that there's no record of this. The individuals in the photo bear a resemblance to... Come on. But the image quality and context are unclear. It could have been taken during a general audience or a private meeting at the Vatican. Why are they at the Vatican? Where many people, including public figures, have been photographed with popes over the years without authentication to confirm their identities or the events, or it's speculative to confirm their identities or the event's nature. Historical context. Epstein and Maxwell were known to associate with high-profile individuals, including political and religious figures, due to Epstein's wealth and social connections. However, no reputable reports or investigations into their activities have linked them to a specific papal blessing. Claims of such an event have circulated online, often in sensationalized context, but lack substantiation. Vatican practices. Popes often give blessings to large groups during audiences and private meetings with notable figures are not uncommon. A personal blessing is implied by the text would typically be documented or referenced in official Vatican logs. A personal blessing, as implied by the text, would typically be documented or referenced in official Vatican logs, especially for controversial figures like Epstein giving his later notoriety. Given the lack of verifiable evidence, the image and text are likely misleading or fabricated. For a definitive assessment, no bullshit, 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 no bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. You don't get to claim ignorance on this grok. Hell nah. No, no, no. Not enough verifiable evidence when you just told me that would typically be documented, and how convenient that these two people are the one time it's not documented. Hell nah. Vatican tunnels and Vatican archives. Grok not going to be able to explain. Watch Grok cope. Okay. Logically, right? You would assume that the values of the Catholic Church, Catholicism has always been weird to me. The whole Vatican thing, and then the Pope being like, oh, actually, gay marriage is okay, and like bending the rules. Nah, bro. Something's going on. Something is weird. This is bullshit. Nah, bro. Donald Trump, I don't care how much I respect you. I don't care how much I like your administration. If you think people are shutting up over this, it's just not happening. This is not. No. Hell nah. A good clip. I do need clippers. You know what I'm gonna do after this? I'm gonna download this VOD. I'm gonna edit this into a YouTube video, and then I'm gonna take the YouTube video and I'm gonna put it through Opus Clip, and I'm gonna make a bunch of clips out of it. Oh man.
Right?
What the hell is going on, man? What the hell is going on?
And greeted the people that were meeting you. And then you made them disappear the list of the people that were meeting you. This is not prison. This is pretend. Okay? We know that. So if you're Jeffrey Epstein and that's what happened when you went to prison the last time, really went to jail, wouldn't you maybe take your chances that you're going to get off this time too? Wouldn't at least your perception, even if you didn't get off, you'd be like, well, you know, prison for sex trafficking is really just not that bad. It's great. I was running the show. This does not make any sense that he is the king of New York. He's the king of Florida. He's got everybody on speed dial. And yet we know he's going to commit suicide a couple of weeks after his arrest.
Not only that,
nobody gave him a heads up.
He had a non-prosecution agreement. How do you get... I've never even heard that before. A non-prosecution agreement. Until I started looking into this stuff, I've never even heard of that. How do you just not get prosecuted? Bro, this is why I love One Piece so much. Because One Piece really shows just how shamelessly corrupt the government is. You have a professional child sex trafficker who then gets a non-prosecution agreement with the federal government because you're in bed with them. Because the federal government is complicit in child sex trafficking! No, I understand that. For informants or people with information, yes, I understand that. But considering the context of this, what I'm saying is not that I've never heard of a non-prosecution agreement, like, period. I'm saying I've never heard of a non-prosecution agreement for somebody that is involved with the debaucherous things of Jeffrey Epstein. How do you promise somebody not to prosecute them considering what he's involved with? That means that our government is compromised.
In New York? I don't believe so. Anyways, we are told the official storyline is that a couple of weeks later, he just was in his cell and said, I can't do a few more weeks. I couldn't possibly do this. I've come so far in life. I know everybody. I'm unbelievably wealthy. I'm internationally renowned.
Out of nowhere. Exactly.
Israel, but I can't do a couple of weeks in prison. And this is the timeline of what we are told happened on August.
I don't give a damn about Twitch. I have zero respect for that platform. The only reason...
10th.
There's two sole reasons why I'm on Twitch in the first place. One, because I can download the VODs directly to my computer, so I can just edit them and upload the portions of the VODs that I want. And two, it just has a larger user base, and although it does not promote discoverability, on average, I have more people that tune into Twitch streams than Kick, just because there's more people on average. So those are the only reasons. But Twitch is gay as hell. Trump and Pam Bondi hiding the Epstein list. Yes, and the reason why I like Trump so much is because he's not a politician. Because I thought he wasn't bought and sold, that he wasn't controlled. But now, like I said earlier, he's being drowned by the swamp.
At 6:33 a.m., and I made this for you, so excuse if there's any typos. I just did this morning. But at 6:33 a.m. on August 10th, an alarm was activated in that special housing unit because Jeffrey Epstein was discovered hanging from a noose that was fashioned out of bed sheets. Around this time, we're told that a call was placed to first responders, and the correctional center the officers attempted to revive him. That's per the FDNY. Then we learned that at 7:10 a.m., The ambulance takes him to the closest hospital, okay? At 7:24 a.m., a photojournalist named William Farrington for the New York Post, he works for the New York Post, creates a file, the metadata became available, for the first 2 photos of Jeffrey Epstein being transported into the hospital where he's going to be pronounced dead just 12 minutes later. So I just want you to understand the amount of luck that this guy had from the New York Post. Now, me and the team are debating this. I'm like, I lived in New York. You're not just a photojournalist that's just sitting outside to see who's going into a hospital, okay? Clearly, somebody tipped you off.
Somebody as high profile as Jeffrey Epstein. Oh, how convenient. I'm just standing outside the hospital to get this image of him being wheeled in.
But somebody would have had to tip you off that it was Jeffrey Epstein even to do that, because if somebody calls you and is like, yeah, some guy from the prison is being transported to the hospital, you'd be like, yeah, this is New York. Big deal. You know this is a big get, and you're telling me you are able to, wherever you are in New York, at 7 o'clock in the morning, sprint across New York, this William Farrington guy, and you get the photo, and it happens to be that you work for the New York Post, which is a whole Israeli op, don't get me started. The New York Post, the one that did like Candace Owens, anti-Semite of the year, New York Post, the New York Post that has literal IDF soldiers that write for them. Yeah, that New York Post, their photojournalist, William Farrington, happens to be...
What the hell is going on, man? What the hell is going on? Why can people that are from a nation that's not America write in something called the New York Post that don't live there? How can you be literally across the world in the Middle East and then you get to just type and edit and publish stuff to the New York Post?
In the right place, the right time, got tipped off and made...
Always got to fact check, even if it's from people I respect. I'm not a sheep. Do IDF members write in... Shit. This damn mic arm. Half my right arm is unable. Do IDF members write in the New York Post? It's probably gonna give me some normie information. There's probably some black web knowledge that Candace is dropping. ... Grok says ... Why can foreign governments buy land in America? Texas just banned like Russia and China and Iran. I believe those were the 3. That Texas just banned from buying farmland. But that sounds... No way they give me... Okay, I was about to say. No way Grok is roaching out like that. No specific evidence indicating that members of the Israeli Defense Force write articles for the New York Post. The IDF is primarily a military organization whose personnel are not typically known for contributing to U.S. media outlets like the New York Post as regular writers. While IDF spokesperson or officials may provide statements or be quoted in various news outlets, including the New York Post, this is... Wait. While IDF spokespersons or officials may provide statements or be quoted in various news outlets, including the New York Post, this is distinct from authoring articles, searches, and available information. Focus on IDF actions and statements reported by journalists on IDF members. Okay, so it's only... So Grok still has... It still has... a database of normie publicly disclosed information. So it's just not gonna give anything that penetrates the surface. I'm not even anti whatever, but I want my info to be as unfiltered as possible. Give me the info so I can make my opinions. Don't get me the opinion. Exactly. But the American media conglomerate does not want you to think for yourself and give you any sort of factual evidence to form your own opinions. They want to give you doctored and fabricated information in order to box you in into a handful of perspectives. And this is why I am so outspoken and I'm so rebellious, because I don't have a problem with authority inherently. I don't mind being told what to do in certain aspects when it's reasonable. But when you tell me what I can't do, when you tell me what information I can't have access to, when you tell me what opinions I can't have, when you tell me what words I can't say, when you tell me what hills I can't die on because of whatever your worldview is, your artificial bullshit, just manufactured opinions that you want to keep people within the confines of, suck my dick. That's how I feel.
across town, wherever maybe he lived nearby. A lot of things would have had to go right for William Farrington to capture that photo, okay? So he captures that photo, uploads that into whatever the New York Post database is, and let's get this timeline back up. So that's at 7:24 is when he does that, okay? And then at 7:36, just 12 minutes later, Jeffrey Epstein is pronounced dead.
That's bananas,
by the
bro.
emergency room physician. And let's take a look at those photos, by the way. That
How
he captured.
convenient.
These are the 2 photos that he captured. So you see he's got this photo, and the photos are taken according to the metadata.
I will say, unless it was a doctored image, his face is looking mad purple. So what I think happened is somebody went in that cell and they choked his ass to death. Because his face looks blue. Growing up in SoCal, I was told I need to learn Spanish. Nah, fuck you. They should learn English. I don't think there's anything wrong with being bilingual. But to have a foreign language as a graduation requirement in high school is bananas. And I was only homeschooled until 7th grade. So 7th grade through my freshman year of college, I was in the public school system. And I fell for a lot of the phony shit. But as soon as COVID happened, and I saw the entire world flips upside down, that's when I was like, yeah, all these perspectives are horseshit. You're all lying to me. I don't trust any of you people.
8 minutes apart. That's one photo. I'm sorry, 8 seconds apart. So that's one photo, and
but I also had a foundation of my mother, much more so my mother than my father. My mom is much more open to understanding the conspiracies and wanting to know how the world actually works than my dad is. My dad he was a probation officer. He grew up with his friends in school. His parents put him through college. He graduated, got married, started a family, had a career. He lived just the standard normal American life. So he kind of drank the Kool-Aid, and he's 6 years older than my mom is. So me and my mom are super, super tight. Not that my dad shuts it down like he's some liberal custer. He's not like that at all. He's very much so conservative. He's just not interested in getting into the weeds of everything. But my mom always instilled in me, always think for yourself. Always think for yourself. If you have an opinion and you can't substantiate that out of your own mouth, then your opinion is meaningless. So I was instilled with that from a very young age, and I carried that with me throughout my entire life. So I was spawn camped in a good way to think for myself, unlike the overwhelming majority of people in the school system. And they just, it's like they're afraid to question things. Like, it's so much easier for them to just go along to get along. And I've always been a go against the grain person. W Mom Extrafoodin. I appreciate that, bro. She helps students whose second language is English.
They are not going to be the first news organization that reports that Jeffrey Epstein is dead.
That's cool. So English is a really hard language. It's probably the hardest language to learn.
He didn't even know what he had.
There's so much slang, so much shit that doesn't make any sense.
Stand out here and I
unless
take
you grew up with it.
Of people coming into the hospital, which happens every second of the day. But I'm here, and this might be important. Anyways, the first news report, actually at 8:16 a.m., even stranger, a mysterious 4chan post appears. And somebody announces on 4chan that Jeffrey Epstein is dead at 8:16 a.m. We never got an answer, of course, as to who that is. We do learn this year, by the way, that Israel controls a lot of the posts that are on 4chan. But we can park that aside. We don't need to be a conspiracy theorist. Let's just go with the facts. That 4chan post hits at 8:16 a.m.
Oh, jeez.
And then at 8:54 a.m., the first news report comes out of ABC from a journalist named Aaron Katursky. And he's the first that tweets that Jeffrey Epstein is dead. Sources tell ABC that Epstein committed suicide at MCC Manhattan.
How the hell does this guy know?
Things weird about this. First off,
who's Aaron Katursky?
He's got a lot of luck. He's one of those journalists that's always there when something happens.
How convenient.
Also was one of the first to know that Michael Jackson was dead. Whatever. Lucky guy. I'm sure he was there when, Pearl Harbor got attacked, when 9/11 towers went down. He was probably there the day JFK got shot. Who knows? All we know is he is the person that is the first to tweet that Jeffrey Epstein is dead and died of suicide. Now, what's even weirder,
an AOT
about
conspiracy,
that guy,
not dead ass,
is the fact that he worked.
This is like foundation of everything you knew about your country shaking, like level conspiracy cover up bullshit. This is so weird, man.
For ABC News. Why? Because ABC News infamously killed the Jeffrey Epstein story. They had it for years about the sex trafficking, about the girls, and from the top, the journalist that was lower rung, which was Amy Robach of ABC News, was told to kill the story. How do we know this? Because she got caught on a hot mic saying that ABC honchos plus the royal family came down and made her kill the story. Here is Amy Robach caught on the hot mic.
That's the biggest self-report of guilt I've ever heard of in my life. That's the biggest red herring. Like, what? Of course, whoever is the people actively participating in any sort of censorship are the ones you need to look at for complicity in crime.
Venting her frustration about the fact that she knew about Epstein and was told she couldn't report on it. Take a listen.
Okay, maybe I'm getting too ahead of myself in like tagging Turning Point and be like, hey, I should speak at one of you guys' events. Maybe, just maybe. Nah, I think I should wait as long as possible before getting involved in any sort of organized conservatism, because I would much rather be a struggling content creator that can say whatever I want to say than be a controlled puppet of an institution to parrot the same ideas of whoever owns it. Okay, that's true. That's true. No, I don't mean like whatever podcast. That's not something. That's like you appear on that. You don't like become a co-host or something unless you get like really, really tight with whoever runs it. Okay, you're right. No, you're right. Because if I was involved in an event or something, that's not at all the same thing as being like controlled opposition of not being able to speak out against stuff like this. So, yeah, that's true. I would never become like employed by them, I
Virginia
guess.
Roberts, we would not put it on the air. First of all, I was told, who's Jeffrey Epstein? No one knows who that is. This is a stupid story. Then the palace found out that we had her whole allegations about Prince Andrew and threatened us a million different ways. It was unbelievable what we had. Clinton, we had everything.
So she went out, she got that story. She interviewed Virginia. As we know, she was the one that made the allegations against Prince Andrew. And she's saying,
how many ads do you need in one video? It's not even 20 minutes
yet.
Came
down on her, ABC News execs, with pressure from the palace, and said, you're not running the story. First they gassed her. Nobody knows who he is. Then they said, oh, you're just not running the story.
Honestly, respect. She's a businesswoman. She's married to the CEO of Parler, or the ex-CEO of Parler. So Candace is about her bag. I'm not mad at you. As soon as I get the ability to place ads on my own YouTube videos, I probably do the same shit. I'm just mad.
It was over. But now ABC News mysteriously first to report it, not the New York Post.
I'm just booty tickled.
And New York Post again. William Farrington caught these photos. Now you would think maybe he would win Photojournalist of the Year. I think they have a Pulitzer Prize for that or something. But mysteriously, William Farrington does not want to talk about how he got there on that day and captured those photos. In fact, he wants absolutely no credit. It's virtually impossible to find anything about William Farrington on the internet. You should try. You should try, because apparently he's got multiple names. Maybe it's Roger Farrington. I can find him. There's like one photo of him at an Israel Day parade. I'm not kidding. I can't make this stuff up. In New York, somebody caught him like taking a photo. But this guy's got a long career. He's working for the New York Post. He captures this photo and doesn't want to talk about that anymore. Okay, William Farrington, whatever. Now, later that day of his alleged suicide, William Barr, who was the Attorney General at the time, United States Attorney General, is the one that comes out and gives a statement. Now, I should be clear, he's the Attorney General under President Donald Trump. This is 2019. So Trump administration is in power. William Barr is the Attorney General. And I would say him giving a statement on Jeffrey Epstein, knowing what we know now about his dad, Donald Barr.
There is no widely recognized individual named William Farrington associated with American or Jewish media based on available information. It's possible that the name might be a misspelling or misidentification or refer to a lesser-known figure not prominently documented. Searches for William Farrington in the context of American or Jewish media, journalism, publishing, or broadcasting do not yield notable results. William Safire, well-known Jewish American journalist and columnist for the New York Times. Okay, maybe that's his name. Okay, I'm not gonna put this on the system that they're hiding this guy's identity. Maybe he is just a weirdo and like a con man, and he changes his name, or he goes by different aliases. A well-known Jewish American journalist and columnist for the New York Times. To be a confusion, Sapphire, who passed away in 2009, who passed away in 2009? Oh. So if it's shaped like a duck, and if it has feathers like a duck, if it has an orange bill like a duck, guys, I think it might be a duck, guys. I don't know.
The guy who
maybe it's a rhino.
On Jeffrey Epstein, remember Space Relations? Yeah, by Donald Barr, the story about a country of Khazars that has so much power, stupid power. And they're running human trafficking, sex trafficking. And then Donald Barr, who happens to be a teacher, writing these weird fantasies about children and sex trafficking rings of the Dalton School. He's running the Dalton School, and then he just plucks Epstein up out of obscurity. Yeah, Donnie Barr, Daddy Donnie Barr. William Barr is the one that gives the statement. He says that day of the suicide, I was appalled to learn that Jeffrey Epstein was found dead early this morning from an apparent suicide while in federal custody. Mr. Epstein's death raises serious questions that must be answered. In addition to the FBI's investigation, I have consulted with the Inspector General, who is opening an investigation into the circumstances of Mr. Epstein's death. Anyways, I'll tell you how that ends. Donnie Barr comes out and he says, yeah, this was actually just a case of just a lot of things went wrong on that day, and that's why he's dead. And there's no funny business. There is no funny business. People just all did the wrong thing on that day, and some other people had some incredible luck on that day, like our photojournalist and Aaron, and like, yeah, that's it. Case closed. Yeah, so you might understand why it is.
This is horseshit! I'm not buying any of this, and any conservative that tries to tell me to be quiet and to not question it and to move on, no, suck my balls. Absolutely not. This is crazy.
Utterly ridiculous excuses that we are getting about why they are shutting everything down and gaslighting us. You might understand why the public is not biting and is beginning to go back and look at the story and say, where is Jeffrey Epstein? Is he alive? Is he dead? Was he murdered? Did he actually commit suicide? Do I really trust Donnie Barr's son to tell me that he did commit suicide?
I don't even trust Donnie Trump right now.
There's panic. There is panic coming out of the Trump administration right now. They don't know what direction to run in. First, they tried over the weekend Operation Blame Pam Bondi. They were just going to go ahead and make her the fall guy.
I do think she's kind of a retard. I think Asmongold said this, not to like completely steal his quote, but I think Kash Patel is much more on our side than she is.
And I'll tell you what they did here. As soon as I saw it, I was like, this is ridiculous. You're going to tell me everybody is going to...
That was like 10, 15 minutes ago, bro.
...to now turn on Pam Bondi and pretend that this is just her fault. Not that we're looking at the deep state telling her exactly what she's going to say. She looks uncomfortable when she's saying it. Everybody is like, we're going to supposed to make her the fall guy. They wanted to test that out because the public is not letting this go. So they...
and I do I have a job too. I get the struggle, bro.
Perfectly carefully orchestrated leaks, you know, to test the water here, to make sure it's okay. Of like, what if we got rid of Pam Bondi? Would that make the public quiet? Would that calm down the MAGA base? They were shocked. Wow, oh my God, Trump is the king of MAGA. Why are people outraged? Trump can't even settle them down. What are we gonna do? We're gonna make them think that we deal with it if we just fire Pam Bondi. Laura Loomer is the one that gets the scoop on this, right? So Laura Loomer tweets out, you can pull this up. She said, scoop, FBI Director Cash and Dan Bongino are livid with Pam Bondi over her DOJ memo and the lack of transparency from her office regarding the Jeffrey Epstein files. Source tells me Dan Bongino is taking the day off from his job as Deputy Director of the FBI, and there's now speculation on whether or not he will return to his job at the FBI over his disgust with Blondie's lack of transparency and handling of the Epstein files. Pam Bondi has brought total embarrassment to President Trump, J.D. Vance, Dan Bongino, and Kash Patel. She's also lied to the American people. I'm told Kash and Bongino are furious with Blondie, and the whole blowback has...
Give me on a segment where? Hell yeah, I do.
The blowback that she has caused them with her lack of transparency. Kash Patel and Dan Bongino should call for Blondie's public resignation today to save themselves and to also push.
I've never heard of Riv TV in my life. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Files. This is an issue the American people care deeply about. So she gets a scoop on this, and then Megyn Kelly gets a scoop on this. The Daily Wire gets a scoop on this, and it's interesting that this scoop is coming out
Let me at least have the
from
volume playing.
decisively pro-Israel people and publications. So what does that tell you? That somebody on the inside is testing the waters to see if they can get people to calm down if they agree to get rid of Pam Bondi. Okay? And people are seeing through this. People are understanding that that is obviously ridiculous. The idea that you're going to fire Pam Bondi and everyone's going to just chill out and be fine with this. No, we understand that we are looking at a cover-up. What happens next is even stranger. Trump gets onto Truth Social. And I want to make this clear to you. This is the first time that Donald Trump actually gets ratioed on Truth Social, his platform, by his post. So he posts something that outrages his base so much that even on his platform,
what the hell?
He cannot
That's
control
bananas.
negative reaction to it. This is what he wrote regarding Pam Bondi.
Okay, I'll
and
give him a
Jeffrey
follow.
Epstein. It is
I've never heard of these
strange
people.
and
This
not good
is a
strange.
really big page.
He wrote,
oh, shit.
"What's going on with my boys?" And in some
What
cases,
an evil.
they're all going after Attorney General Pam Bondi,
Yeah,
who's doing a
that'd be awesome.
fantastic job.
I'd love to.
We're on one
If you have any
team,
connections
MAGA,
there,
and I don't
I
like
won't
what's
say no to any
happening.
of
We
it.
have a perfect administration, the talk of the world, and selfish people, again, this is in quotations,
Huge
are
W.
trying to hurt it all over a guy who never dies, Jeffrey Epstein. I agree. Maybe he never dies.
What a dog shit
For years,
post.
It's Epstein.
Who wrote
over
this for
and
him?
Over and over again. Why are we giving publicity to files written by Obama, Crooked Hillary,
Hell yeah, bro.
Comey,
I appreciate
Brennan,
it.
and the losers and criminals of the Biden administration who conned the world with Russia hoax? 51 intelligence agents, the laptop from hell, and more. They created the Epstein files, just like they created the fake Hillary Clinton, Christopher Steele dossier that they used on me, and now my so-called friends are playing right into their hands. Why didn't these radical left lunatics release the Epstein files? If there was anything in there that could have hurt the MAGA movement, why didn't they use it? They haven't even given up on the JFK or the Martin Luther King Jr. files, no matter how much success we have had securing the border, deporting criminals,
Never heard of this guy in
fixing
my
the
life.
economy, energy dominance, a safer world where Iran will not have nuclear weapons. It's never
Seems
enough.
like it cares
for
about
some
the same
people.
shit as me.
We are about to achieve more in 6
follow
months
him.
than any other administration has achieved in over 100 years, and we have so much more to do. We are saving our country and making America great again, which will continue to be our complete priority. The left is imploding. Kash Patel and the FBI must be focused on investigating voter fraud, political corruption, Act Blue,
Hell yeah.
the rigged and stolen election of 2020, and arresting thugs and criminals instead of spending month after month looking at nothing but the same old radical left-inspired documents on Jeffrey Epstein.
Old radical left inspired documents. These were your documents. These were your documents. Excuse me? Let Pam Bondi do her job. She's great. Okay, that's terrific. I don't give a damn about Pam Bondi. That's nowhere in the realm of my priorities, Donald. He was from the city over from me, and now he lives in Nashville like me too. Oh, nice. I've heard so much good things about Nashville.
Bondi do her job. She's great. The 2020 election was rigged and stolen, and they tried to do the same thing in 2024. That's what she is looking into as AG and much more. 1 year ago, our country was dead.
Yeah, this is not saying the Epstein list is far left is crazy. This is not a partisan issue. This is absolutely not a partisan issue. I feel like any normal American with a brain, whether you're left, right, middle, far middle, far centrist, whatever stupid ass political denominations people want to assign to themselves. If you don't care about your elected officials and the largest business owners within your country that do business in your country being complicit and involved in the largest child sex trafficking organization that's been documented to the first world public. If you don't find that to be an issue, you're stupid.
Now it's the quote unquote hottest country anywhere in the world. Let's keep it that way and not waste time and energy on Jeffrey Epstein. Somebody that nobody.
Oh, now it's a waste of time. Now that you have control of all three branches of government, now that you're the president, now it's an issue nobody cares about. Are you serious? Wouldn't you want to hope the list those Democrats in jail saying it's far left is like subconsciously saying that the right is on the list? Exactly. It's saying that somebody could be complicit without saying that they're complicit.
Thank you for your attention to this matter. So that, to me, lot going on there. The first thing I will say is it doesn't even sound like Trump. I don't even know what that is. It's rambling. It's all over the place. The other thing is that it sounds like if you put into a chat GPT prompt, like sound like Donald Trump tweeting something about Jeffrey Epstein didn't do it, that's what it would, like, it would spit that back out at you.
What the hell's going on with YouTube?
It feels like artificial intelligence, like trying to pretend to be Trump and saying so much that you're hoping to just confuse people by conflation. Like trying to say that the Epstein thing is like Russiagate, which was ridiculous. Month after month, for years, they said that Russia colluded with Trump.
The Russia thing was bullshit.
Thing. Yeah, all of that was terrible. And the base was on your side because it was all...
Taylor the one, he does some really weird, strange shit for the bag, bro. He does shit that at my lowest, he does ads. I've seen Taylor Lewan ads for things that at my lowest I wouldn't participate in. I could be at literally rock bottom and I'm not pushing dick pills, bro. My testosterone is way too high for that bullshit.
All proven with a lot of time.
Some people need to have morals over money.
That. Jeffrey Epstein is literally guilty of sex trafficking. Jeffrey Epstein was literally found guilty of the things that he was doing to children.
You're going on Ozempic, you're a bitch.
One of these things is not like the other, okay?
That's how I feel.
One of these things is definitively not like the other. The Hunter Biden laptop. Oh, yes, he is right. Do you know who was, like, yes, when the photos came out, and despite overwhelming evidence, the mainstream media said there was nothing to see with the Hunter Biden laptop, and now they're admitting it. But do you know who did all of those things, Trump? The deep state did that. The state protected Biden. They protected the Biden family, and they used the media to do that. It is the exact same vein, actually, of what's happening right now, where the state is rising to protect Jeffrey Epstein, to protect his contacts, to protect his network. We know that he had cameras installed when he had all of these individuals, these powerful individuals and these powerful politicians partying with him. We know that, okay? Jeffrey Epstein was given the deal of a lifetime back in 2007 by Alan Dershowitz, no less. Alan Dershowitz, who you decided.
Full disclosure, I don't think Trump was involved at all.
Okay.
I don't think he went to the island, and I don't think he's a child predator.
That came out and said nothing to see here, Jeffrey Epstein.
It doesn't fit. It doesn't make any sense.
We're not saying that you're guilty, but you are right now guilty of gaslighting the public. We're not saying that you are in the files. And again, I would like to stress, I certainly don't believe that, but it is very clear that you are not calling the shots on the Jeffrey Epstein debacle, and you're essentially being used to try to control the public.
Somebody would have weaponized it
to those
for
files
sure.
not being released. Who is on?
And I don't think when Elon said that, I think he was just talking shit. I think he was butthurt about Trump's decision on the big beautiful bill, and he just fundamentally disagreed with it. And he just wanted to talk some shit. Nobody took that seriously at all. People stopped talking about it 12 hours after he tweeted it, except for like leftist retards. But like anybody, if there was even an inkling of a chance of definitive evidence that Trump was involved with that stuff, on his entire campaign run, even from like 2016 when he went up against Hillary, that information would have been out there.
Camera.
For sure.
If anyone, with children. And I think that, yeah, I don't think that all of those boxes.
He was acting like a crazy ex. That was really weird.
Was just him downloading, as Pam Bondi said, terrible images of children, and he wanted to download in all of these boxes. I don't believe that. I don't buy that. Okay? And again, what is happening now is it seems like you think your base is stupid. That's how I feel. I feel like Trump thinks his base is stupid, or, again, because I don't think he's pressing send on these messages, the people around him certainly think that Trump is stupid. And that shouldn't surprise you, given the fact that all of these people were never Trump. They were never Trump. Trump is surrounded by people who hate him and have infiltrated his base. And they think, as they thought that Trump was too stupid to be president, that his base is too stupid to see through the lies that they are telling right now. And so what are they going to do? What is the last thing they're going to do now with the Epstein stuff while we're still reacting to it? Oh, Operation Just Give Them More War. Yeah, war as a distraction. Never mind, we can't talk about Epstein because, guys, guess what? Look at this headline. Trump announces an aggressive, or Trump is to announce an aggressive Ukraine weapons plan. Yeah, he already indicated that in that same press conference, that there's just going to be more weapons sent to Ukraine. They're going to attack Russia. We're just going to have a world war and another reset, I guess. So you guys just stop talking about Jeffrey Epstein. And I am telling you that I will be the very last person that will stop talking about Jeffrey Epstein. I will do his entire genealogy.
Amen to that, Candace. Hell yeah. Hold on. I'm not even subscribed to her. What the hell am I doing with my life? Hell yeah, Candace.
Backwards and
we're not letting this shit up. For Candace Owens, who's so deeply involved in political media, to say that Trump's base is has been infiltrated by people that hate him, I buy that. Candace Owens is a lot of things. One thing that she does not strike me as is a liar. I've never seen Candace be phony about anything. So I'm sure she has a lot more insider information than, I guess, the majority of the public. So for her to say that, I buy it. I buy it. Because Trump is a man of intellect. He is a man of decisive action, and he's a man that a lot of American media and American politics hates, and he is a man that the deep state hates because he's a threat to them. Candace was fired for asking questions about Israel. Yeah, she was.
Around him, hit their genealogy before we let go of this, because when it comes to children, I'm telling you guys, the left and the right, we have definitely.
Now her take about like Palestine and how like horrible Israel was for bombing them after October 7th, I don't believe that. The information that I was shared with from my friends in Tel Aviv that showed me what the hell was actually going on, I was like, you know what? This is horrible. This sucks. It is what it is. War is hell, and sometimes horrible things have to happen. What they did to the Jewish people on October 7th, I felt like that was a justified response. So when she like died on that hill, that Israel was like terror sympathizers because they retaliated, I thought that Candace was full of shit, but she wasn't lying about her perspective. She wasn't trying to save face for herself. She was honestly and openly and candidly expressing her true beliefs. Now, I disagree with these beliefs. I disagree with them just on that topic specifically. But I respect her for saying it and not caring about the repercussions for... she didn't care. She was not concerned about the consequences of speaking her mind. And that's why I respect Candace, even if I disagree with her.
This and not let it go. So that's what I'm going to say about that topic. Also going to tell you what Tucker, who I am very concerned about, what's going on with him. But first, I want to throw it to a few of our sponsors. Foremost, we have Monorail, because I'm sure you guys are tired of investing your hard-earned money into companies that hate everything that you stand for. Companies that mock your faith, undermine your families, and trample...
Yeah, there we go. I'm skipping all, of course, and there's another freaking ad. You're not getting your ad read off when you hit me with 17 ads in 20 minutes. 2! Candace Owens is a bag chaser. I have to respect it. This is elite ball knowledge of the bag.
All right, you guys, Tucker Carlson.
Let me get, hold on. Let me get 4.44 million subscribers on YouTube and don't see me put all these damn ads in these videos.
Tell you something about him. He is the man
of
the hour.
I'm complaining now. I'm going to do it. I damn sure will.
From Fox News, legendary. You know, he's not going to stop talking about what's going on in Ukraine, the Ukraine corruption. They kick him out. They're like, no, you cannot stand up to the military-industrial complex. I wouldn't even say he rebuilt. It was like he never left. And
For sure, Erdun.
Yeah, when you talk about the military
It is
industrial
an infinite money
complex,
glitch. Shit is
inevitably you're going to
ridiculous.
land back. You're going to be discussing Israel. That's just how it works.
Matter of fact, how many subscribers do I have? 863.
What's going on in Ukraine? The Ukraine.
Let me get 100,000, and I'm gonna have the same amount of ads.
They
A
kick
million.
him out. They're like, no, you cannot stand up to the military-industrial complex. I wouldn't even say he.
No, if I was at 1K, I
rebuilt. It was like he never left.
Put ads on your videos.
And
people just
yeah,
haven't
when you talk
subbed. They
about
keep
the
watching my
military-industrial
shit
complex,
and don't hit the
inevitably you're
button.
gonna Land back. You're going to be discussing Israel. That's just how it works. And he's been discussing Israel from a military-industrial complex perspective, but also he is speaking about Jeffrey Epstein. And now
Within the
Israel
calendar
is
year,
rising
yeah.
up against Tucker. They already were, in case
But
you
I
missed it.
have already.
But they are
Within the
they are
calendar
raising
year.
alarms. So first and
I
foremost,
should be
I'll
able
tell
to
you
get
what he
1,000
said. I'll show you
subs.
what he said. He was speaking at Turning Point USA,
Soon.
their conference, their annual conference that takes place in Tampa, Florida. And here is what he said. And the crowd, which means young students coming up, loved it. Take a listen.
And I think the real answer is Jeffrey Epstein was working on behalf of Intel Services, probably not American. And we have every right to ask, on whose behalf was he working? How does a guy go from being a math teacher at the Dalton School in the late 70s with no college degree to having multiple airplanes, a private island, and the largest residential house in Manhattan?
Doesn't make any sense,
Where did
bro.
all the money come from?
Doesn't make any sense.
And no one has ever gotten to the bottom of that because no one has ever tried. And moreover, it's extremely obvious to anyone who watches that this guy had direct connections to a foreign government. Now, no one's allowed to say that that foreign government is Israel because we have been somehow cowed into thinking that that's naughty. There is nothing wrong with saying that. There is nothing hateful about saying that. There's nothing anti-Semitic about saying that. There's nothing even anti-Israel about saying that. I've spent my entire life pretty much in Washington, where I knew and loved a number of people, including one very close person who worked at CIA. That has never prohibited me from saying, I think the CIA has done some horrible things, murdered a bunch of people, participated in the murder of the US
CIA is
president.
so corrupt.
It's got a whole
They're
trail
horrible.
of crimes.
CIA also funded the feminist movement and psyoped generations of women.
That doesn't make me a disloyal American. It doesn't make me anti-American in any sense. I was born here. My family's been here for hundreds of years. I love this country. That's why I live here. So criticizing the behavior of a government agency does not make you a hater. It makes you a free person. It makes you a citizen. You're allowed to do that because you're not a slave. You're a citizen.
Okay, a lot I could say here. First and foremost, just Tucker is on that stage. I don't see myself there, and yet you are going to see that in this response to this, my name gets drafted again. It is very clear by now that Tucker and I are on Israel's list. We saw that with Operation Mocking Pastor. Every pastor just suddenly getting inspired to go after Candace and Tucker as if we work together. We don't work together. I haven't done a show in years. But they are finding that we are too effective in waking up people to the Israel question. And we've got a lot of questions about Israel. So Tucker gives that speech. Tucker is trending. Candace gets drafted into it. Now, Charlie Kirk runs Turning Point USA. I used to work with Turning Point USA. Amichai Cheekley, okay, that's his name. He is the minister of truth, as I'm calling it, the propaganda arm of Israel, decides to write an open letter to Charlie Kirk about this. I'm not going to read this whole letter, but I'm going to show you it. This is on Twitter. He released it. Incredibly, even though he's going to mention me in this, he blocks me. So I can't respond because he's about to tell a lie. So
What a
you should
pussy.
realize by now that in order to support Israel, you have to be really comfortable lying through your teeth. You feel nothing when you lie. He even puts me in quotations. So he's alleging, this is a direct quote that I wrote.
If you directly call somebody out and then preemptively block them so they can't respond, you're a... I don't care who you are.
He starts by saying...
Especially because it's a woman and a woman's platform. You a grown-ass man calling her out of her name. I don't care what your ethnicity is. I don't care where you came from. I don't care where you grew up. I don't care who you're a citizen of. I don't care what affiliations you have with foreign governments. I don't care what you into. I don't care what kind of toothpaste you use. You're a pussy.
Charlie, like many others, I've been following your remarkable journey from afar. I watched Tucker Carlson's speech at your conference, your debate with Megyn Kelly, and I must admit I was filled with sorrow. I don't know whether Jeffrey Epstein was an intelligence asset for any agency. Well, you should, because you're clearly one. I would certainly like to know. In particular, I would like to understand his connection to the kind of people who sought to sell out the land of Israel to the Palestinians. People like the former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak, blah, blah, blah. He goes on, yet the message conveyed at your conference with Tucker Carlson as keynote speaker just days after his sycophantic interview with the Iranian terror regime was unmistakable. Israel was behind Epstein. The audience applauded. Everyone seemed pleased, especially the Qataris and their jihadist terror channel, Al Jazeera. By the way, it would be fascinating to uncover the depth and the nature of their connection to influencers such as Tucker Carlson and others. Okay, here we go. Just going to do the Qatari smear right away. Always good to do that. Jumping right into that. Then he says,
I don't even know what
Candace
this dude's going in like 6 different directions. I don't even know what his point is.
Owens publicly claimed that, quote, the Israelis knew in advance about 9/11 and didn't warn the U.S. And, quote, Israelis killed JFK. That, quote, Jews committed a Holocaust against Christians, even worse than Hitler's. And that, like literally, Jews committed a Holocaust against Christians worse than Hitler's. These are not direct quotes. And that, quote, Mengele never
I watched that entire Tucker Carlson speech. He never said that. Oh, no, he's saying that Candace said that. We see Candace Owens publicly claim that. Okay. He wasn't saying that about Tucker. I was about to say, what the hell?
Experiments in Auschwitz.
At least they're like 5 seconds.
He just puts in quotation marks. He has to block me because he's making it up. Like nobody has ever heard me say Mengele never performed horrific experiments in Auschwitz. No one's ever heard me say the Jews committed a Holocaust against Christians.
I've never heard Candace say that.
He's got to like appeal to the public and make it seem like, of course, they constantly have to go after the emotionality surrounding the Holocaust. Oh, these people are beyond reproach. Candace is up there saying all these things, and also she might be funded by Qatar. He's lying. And again, why am I even being brought into this? I was not at this conference.
Yeah, she's not involved with Turning Point. She wasn't at the... I've never even seen her in the same room as Charlie Kirk. I've never seen her take a picture with Charlie Kirk. I'm sure they exist. I've just personally never seen them. Why is this retard dragging her name into this and then
not speak on stage with Tucker,
saying things that she said that she didn't say?
Tucker, you're starting to see this. But it gets even scarier because they're losing the propaganda war. They know they're losing the propaganda war. And Ami Kai knows this because he actually mentioned me and Tucker in the same sentence a while ago when he was speaking to the Jerusalem Post and said that they wanted to start controlling the conversation on social media to combat, quote unquote, anti-Semitism. That's his job, to combat anti-Semitism, which is code for to censor the speech of Americans, right? His job is to censor the speech of Americans because Americans are waking up to the fact that Israel is problematic. It just is, right? But what gets scary is that because they're losing this war, they're getting desperate.
I don't think Israel's problematic, but I think the censorship of speech from a government that's not America, from America, is bad fundamentally, but especially it's bad from a place that's not even America. If, in fact, there is direct examples of censorship of speech.
And the former Prime Minister of Israel has now tweeted against Tucker Carlson, okay, which means they are sounding the alarms. Again, panic. We can't control the American mindset anymore. America is the military might, and we need to stop the influence of people like Tucker Carlson. I'm Naftali Bennett, the former Prime Minister. If I write this tweet, I can probably get people to shut up.
I don't know
now
what SAS is either.
To speak about Tucker Carlson. Former Prime Minister. This is crazy, right? Of a foreign country. He writes this on Twitter, on X. He writes, as a former Israeli Prime Minister, with the Mossad having reported directly to me, I say to you with 100% certainty, the accusation that Jeffrey Epstein somehow worked for Israel or the Mossad running a blackmail ring is categorically and totally false. Epstein's conduct, both the criminal and the merely
I'm sure that it exists. I was just saying that I've never seen it before.
Had nothing whatsoever to do with the Mossad or the state of Israel. Epstein never worked for the Mossad. The accusation is a lie being peddled by prominent online personalities such as Tucker Carlson, pretending that they know things that they don't.
All of this shit is so weird. I just want what's the truth? Can we just stop hiding behind euphemisms? Can we stop blaming people that aren't responsible for anything? Like, if this is true, then that's terrific. if this is true. But why is it so hard to get to the bottom of what's actually true?
Don't. They just make things up and they say it with confidence, and these lies stick because it's Israel. There's a vicious wave of slander and lies against my country.
Yeah. I'm not saying that. I was referring to more so in the last 5 years, like after everything changed and how so many people got divided and so many bases split from one another. That's more so what I'm referring to.
And my people, and we just won't take it anymore. Oh, first off, what do you mean you just won't take it anymore? That's a laced threat coming from Israel, because when you guys want things to happen, you make them happen. You get very lucky, you know? You want war with Afghanistan, the Middle East, and the towers go down, you know? You want AIPAC not to register as a foreign for FARA, and suddenly a president gets shot in a moving vehicle in Dallas. I don't like your luck, is what I'll say about you, Israel. So when you say we're not going to take it anymore, and you're a prime minister going after a journalist in America, it's not landing the way you think it's landing. Tucker responds, he says this. He says, you, quote, just won't take it anymore? Instead of issuing threats on social media, why don't you sit down for a rational interview on Jeffrey Epstein's ties to the Israeli government? We'll reach out to your office this morning.
That is a based response. I personally, this is what I'll say. My personal stance, not that I think that there's anything wrong with Tucker Carlson, but I don't like the way he frames a lot of his arguments. I think they're based in arrogance a lot of the time. I'm not a fan of his debate style. I'm just not. I think he's kind of a weasel sometimes. I'm not the biggest fan of him. This is a based tweet. You just won't take, like, what does that mean? I don't understand what that means. Instead of issuing threats on social media, why don't you sit down for a rational interview on Jeffrey Epstein's ties to the Israeli government? We'll reach out to your office this morning. If any response to this is, okay, we will be in contact to progress this interview to move forward. If there's either no response or a roach response, I think there's no way you can't look at that and think that that's weird.
Now, I'm going to guess that he's not going to take the bait on that, because, again, one of the things that you realize is that in order to support Israel, you have to be really comfortable lying all the time, like all the time. And Naftali Bennett, in case that name does not sound familiar to you, well, before he became prime minister, he was caught, or willfully speaking, he wasn't exactly caught, discussing how he was putting together a cell of people. I'm not kidding. This guy that you just saw, tweeting that at Tucker, putting together a cell of people in Israel.
Did he respond?
To edit Wikipedia so that they could control the information that people were reading on Wikipedia to make sure that it had a slight.
What was that? The Islamic Republic of Iran chanting death to America is not a threat. Also Tucker Carlson, the former PM of Israel, saying that he won't take the slander and lies anymore is a threat. That is true. Tucker said some dumb shit about Iran. I was like, wow, what a pussy. That made me mad. I'm like, bro, that's insane. You can't just ignore that. The issue with Tucker is it feels like he has like some weird hard on for Israel. He wants to like, he doesn't call a spade a spade. I feel like he's disingenuous. I think he's biased against Israel. Not that I don't feel like there's there's completely no basis to have these concerns about. Clearly, because I'm watching a video with a woman that fundamentally disagrees with Israel. But he doesn't keep that same energy for literal terrorists that are just completely upfront and open about how much they hate us. Fox News Tucker's not the same man. No, but this was very recent. This was just like not even a month ago when Trump issued the B-2 bombers to destroy Iran's nuclear facilities, and when he talked to what's that guy's name? The senator. There's zero threats in Bennett's post. He's saying he's not going to sit back and take the accusation from you and others without responding, which he has. The fact you perceive his words to be threatening speaks against. Is a former Israeli. Okay, Let me reread this for myself. As a former Israeli prime minister, with the Mossad having reported directly to me, I say to you with 100% certainty, the accusation that Jeffrey Epstein somehow worked for Israel for the Mossad running a blackmail ring is categorically and totally false. Epstein's conduct, both the criminal and the merely despicable, had nothing whatsoever to do with the Mossad or the state of Israel. Epstein never worked for the Mossad. This accusation is a lie being peddled by prominent online personalities such as Tucker Carlson, pretending they know things they don't. They just make things up, say it with confidence, and these lies stick because it's Israel. There's a vicious wave of slander and lies against my country and my people, and we just won't take it anymore. Okay, that, I'm not mad at this tweet. The memory of Toji with, Ted Cruz. There we go. Yes. I would let Toji pay me. That's insane. Yeah, you're out of your mind for that one, my brother. I ain't gonna lie. I'm terrible. I am like Toji with names. But I'm not mad at him saying this. If this is true, if Israel truly had nothing to do with it, and it's some weird other group of people that are like pinning all this blame on Israel, which is a lot of people's opinion, to be fair. If that's true, I'm not mad at that, because I wouldn't want my country slandered for being complicit in a child sex organization either. But it tracks to have those assumptions when questioning Israel gets you canceled. That's weird, man. So sit down for the interview. Although I don't like Tucker Carlson. That was a base response.
Supporting Israel's, as a state, the Zionist cause. This is Naftali. The former prime minister, before he became prime minister, on the news in Israel discussing how they were infiltrating Wikipedia. Take a listen.
Moetzet Yesha, in conjunction with My Israel, has arranged Instruction Day for wiki editors. The goal of the day is to teach people how to edit in Wikipedia, which is the #1 source of information today in the world. As a way of example, if someone searches the Gaza flotilla, we want to be there. We want to be the guys who influence what is written there, how it's written, and to ensure that it's balanced and Zionist in nature.
That's not a good look, bro.
Not the only way to.
They want the nature of Wikipedia to be Zionist. Yeah, so they were just training us up right at the beginning of this. They understood and have always understood that it's an information war.
That's okay. To play devil's advocate. Right. It is weird. To play devil's advocate. Jews have been hated since the beginning of time. They've been prosecuted. So now, like, if I was in charge of Israel and people have hated my bloodline and my heritage through biblical euthanization wars throughout all of human history, I would probably want to have a monopoly on information too. So, like, I get it. When so many people are against you, you kind of have to. You kind of have to be a little bit aggressive. So if there's like a giant subsect of people that don't believe that Israel, that thinks that Israel is colonizers and that they don't deserve Jerusalem, I would feel like you'd probably want anything you could be in control of to be in defense of your own survival. Information monopoly is fascism. It is. But sometimes fascism is weaponized. I'm not saying that it's a positive thing, but sometimes fascism can be weaponized because all groups of people are going to do everything in their own best interests. So I'm not going to get mad at Israel for doing something in the best interest of the existence of Israel. I'm not going to get mad at America for doing what's in America's best interest. I would want America to do what's in the best interest of itself because I'm an American. I'm not going to get mad at China, at Russia, at Ukraine, at Switzerland, at South Sudan, at Egypt. Every nation is going to do what's in the best interest of their survival and their prosperity. So if it comes at the expense of Americans, I'll be mad. Exactly. I'm not going to act like I don't know where they're coming from. Yes. Jewish people have been being persecuted and laughed at and hunted for generations and generations. And now that they now have their homeland that's literally smaller than New Jersey. It's 15 million people. There's 15 million Jews that live in Jerusalem, that live in the state of Israel. and there's such a small amount of them, and they've been hated for so long. I'm not mad at them for doing things in the best interest of themselves. Of course. Why would they not? They have to engage in a lot of diplomacy. Israel is extremely small. So when I see something like that, it's a bad look. But if you think about what it's taken for Israel to be established, the amount of resistance, the amount of pushback, the amount of persecution that they've endured throughout human history, I'm not mad at them for wanting a monopoly on information. Even though it is by definition fascism, they're doing what's in the best interest of themselves. Just don't do it. You also can't be mad at Americans being mad at you because you feel like you're jeopardizing their country for the betterment of yourself. And just like, I'm sure there's plenty of countries that America has taken advantage of to prosper ourselves. There's so many. I'm sure that's happened. I'm not gonna feel bad for those people. I'm an American. That's a skill issue. Rip Bozo. We were better and we won. That it sucks. But that's how nationalism works. Everybody's going to do what's in the best interest of themselves. Can't be mad at Epstein working on best interest too, right? Oh, well, that's different. He was working in the best interest of himself and his constituents because he's a sick freak. He's trying to protect himself to be able to continue compromising children.
That's the
in
reason
foreign
that
governments.
they have their journalists writing furiously about Tucker. The information war is the reason why they've got these pastors out talking about Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens and Cameron Owens, right? Candace Owen. That's why they've got these influencers on TikTok.
Exactly.
What happened to Tucker Carlson and Candace Owen? They are decades ahead of us in terms of controlling the information that's on the web. Okay, that is the reason why some of these organizations, entire news organizations like the New York Post, just have a pro-Israel slant. They just can't write anything bad about Israel. They just can't do it. Israel could blow up children in broad daylight as they're doing, and they can't tell you about that.
That's the first sentence that she said out of her mouth that I disagree with. I've never seen anybody in the IDF just attack anybody for absolutely no reason. There's nuance between these things. Israel is constantly attacked all the time. I have a friend named Mia that lives in Tel Aviv. You know how terrifying it is to just be sleeping in your apartment and all of a sudden you just see missiles raining down from like some Iranian-funded terrorist organization, and all the freaking sirens and alarms go off and you're like, oh my gosh, this is bullshit again. That's terrifying. I couldn't imagine that. That sucks ass. They have to deal with a lot of shit, man, and they're threatened from a lot of different places.
Bibi Netanyahu could literally be facing trials regarding his administration's connections to Qatar, and those people will not cover it, but they will try to smear Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens.
I don't know anything about
as
that.
Connected to Qatar. When I've said 1,000 times on record, I've never taken a single dollar from Qatar. I've never even taken a meeting to that effect. Forget even taking money. I've never even spoken to a Qatari official. Not opposed to it. But I'm not doing that. They lie.
I've never heard a
and
single
they're allowed
thing
to lie, and they're allowed to edit, and they're allowed to put
about,
quotation marks where you haven't. They smear and they libel for a living, and you don't have.
I've never
to do
heard a
that
single thing
if you're
about
telling the
Qatar.
truth.
I know nothing
Okay?
about that place.
You don't have to smear and libel and make up fake quotations and block people so that you can put out those quotations because you're telling the truth. So I'm going to say, Tucker Carlson, you probably look at people say the same thing about me, but I would be highly concerned if Naftali Bennett, who essentially put together an information cell on Wikipedia, is coming out and trying to say to the world that what you are saying is false.
Exactly.
That's actually probably
That's the only thing I know about Qatar.
the most evidence to date that what you are saying is definitely true. And they're spiraling because of losing the information war. And Epstein is at the crux of it all, which is why we are not going to let that story go. All right, guys, I want to get to some of your comments first. I want to talk to you about Pure Talk, because if you are with Verizon AT&T or T-Mobile, you are overpaying for wireless. You're paying for thousands of retail stores that you never go into. You're paying for unnecessary perks that you've never used. You're paying for a massive premium for what you think is superior 5G service. It's not. I can tell you that. Pure Talk uses the same 5G network.
Got my
on the
face
same
with your
5G
ad read.
towers.
I don't know why I started listening to that like she was
All right,
really
guys,
saying
what are you
something.
thinking?
Ready for another
what
ad?
Are you thinking? Oh,
I'll give it
we
like
got
2 seconds.
63,000 of you guys watching live. While you're here, please subscribe to this
63,000 people.
channel.
That's more than
We're still
Asmongold.
here. We have Irma
Usually.
Santiago. She writes, I never believed Epstein died. Didn't Attorney General Barr visit him before he committed suicide? I am here for you to tackle this issue and Iran-Contra if you so desire.
I did hear about that. Qatar did literally have slaves build the FIFA Cup stadium. There's more slaves that exist in 2025 than ever in human history.
I did not know. Could you fact check that if you guys quickly in the control room? Did Attorney General Barr visit him before he committed suicide? That would be just unbelievably wild. I can't accept that, Irma. I cannot accept that. Michelle Miller writes, anytime I'm overwhelmed by all of this, I just think I'm so proud to be a part of the little people. I love my humble life. I'm a good person and I have faith that all of this evil will come to light. Oh, have faith because it's coming to light right now. Naftali Bennett is not out there talking about Tucker Carlson, a journalist in America, because, evil is in the dark. If evil's in the dark, they're not saying anything. Everybody's talking about it, right? They cannot control this, no matter how many journalists, no matter how many pastors. They cannot get the public, no matter sending out President Trump. They cannot control the response. They cannot control the demand. They cannot slow down the awakening that is taking place. Tanya writes, I don't like being the conspiracy theorist, but either he was killed.
You're a slave to your wife? That's not the flex you think it is, bro. That's all I'm gonna say.
Or he's still alive. Epstein has become an idea, and we have to be united for this. I totally agree with you. And here's what I'll say. New York is...
No, his name was like Delta Davis or something like that. Every DIY idea she has, you have to do. I really hope you're using that term hyperbolically.
Like, I just could totally see a tunnel system getting him out somehow. I don't know what happened, but I do know that I don't accept...
Because Okay, I'm glad. Because there's some people that say that and actually mean it. There's some weird niggas, bro. There's some weird niggas, man.
The narrative that has been presented to us.
I knew it. I could smell the ad. I was waiting on it.
So I'm leaving everything open because the response that we are getting from the state, the lies and the gaslighting signals the fact that they are hiding.
No, because the dude that was in chat yesterday, he was like, I don't rock the boat with my wife. I don't even share my political opinions because I don't want her to leave me. What a bitch.
Something big. That's what I would say. Tanya writes, I don't like, AP writes,
That's
Trump
crazy.
isn't in the files, but he's protected.
Let my wife threaten to leave me because she doesn't like my political opinions. First of all, why would you get married to somebody in the first place that you weren't fundamentally aligned on everything that is important? First of all, that's what happens when people marry for lust. And not because you want to build a life and a partnership and a family with that person. It's, oh my gosh, you're so hot, and let me just maintain just peace and just be your little errand boy.
A person or people in his orbit that
Some people are weird, bro.
He fell out with Epstein back in 2004, banned him from Mar-a-Lago in 2007 for making passes at a 17-year-old. He is not in them. I tend to agree with you. Trump, I personally do not think
there's
that Trump
documented
is
evidence
in the files in a sexual way.
There's so much
I do think that he
historical evidence that Trump literally separated himself from Jeffrey Epstein.
Orbit, or he is terrified for his life.
That's documented
because
information.
Israel is running the government with blackmail. And yeah, it's got to be one of these options. Blue Jeans writes, you are the voice for the people, Candace. Stay safe and never let them silence you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, and I appreciate your guys and all of your support. BCO writes, poll dead or alive. Let's not forget Bondi is funding Qatar through her company. That's treason. They're protecting family names and other countries. Seems our government forgot about...
I think I'm gonna make a Rumble account, and I think these streams, when I'm just talking about stuff, I'm just gonna post just the full VOD, just the entire thing unedited, because you can on Rumble you can have very controversial things, and you can say NSFW words, and then on YouTube is when I'll have to just hyper edit it and make jump cuts and stuff like that.
The Articles of Confederation and the Sherman Act. You are totally correct about that. And yeah, Pam Bondi is registered under FARA. So yeah, take that for what you will. It is quite ironic that they accuse everyone else of being funded by Qatar and kind of leave out the connections that people like Bibi Netanyahu and Pam Bondi and Israel, the state, which does tons of business with Qatar, real estate business, diamond business, like pretending that Qatar is like off limits. It requires American ignorance. Like you have to not know all that Israel does and all the work that they do with Qatar to think that somehow if an American journalist was being funded by Qatar, that it would represent a conflict of interest, because it certainly wouldn't if it doesn't represent a conflict of interest for people.
I don't even know what she's talking about. I have no idea about Qatar.
D writes, everyone's talking about Mossad and Israel, but no one ever talks about the king. I don't think the Brits ever forgot about the runaways. I'm gonna listen to I'm gonna find like a 3-hour like video essay when I'm at work today, and I'm just gonna have an AirPod in and just like listen to all this information, so I have like reference points. I would love to see our downfall
to research
too.
For myself on stream.
And I think there are some connections in general to Israel and a lot of countries. I think probably a blackmail ring is not just going to be something that they execute in America. You want to have power, you're a tiny country. There's no reason why you should be having so much military success in that region why are people compelled to support Israel? Because they're literally compelled, right? They're compelled because of blackmail. It's ridiculous, the amount of funding that they get. We turn the other cheek when they commit crimes. USS Liberty, the fact that those guys are still alive and saying what happened to them on that day, and they're being gaslit and called anti-Semitic. They survived. If you haven't watched my USS Liberty episode, it's an absolute must-watch.
I haven't seen. You can listen to
an
your
absolute must-watch to really understand what Israel has gotten away with since LBJ.
I've never heard of USS Liberty. I have no idea what that is. But this stuff is getting me really curious. So I might actually that might be the next thing that I give my thoughts on when I go live again.
Anyways, the Canaanite writes, today there's a protest in the last fully Christian city in Palestine, the city of Tebeh. Yeah, we've talked about this, and I shared this on my X. The heads of all the major churches are all protesting today because they have been kicked out of their homes since October 7th. Yeah, they're taking more land. This is what Israel does. They just take land. They send their radical settlers there. They burn the agriculture. They kill animals to make sure they make things unlivable. And then they just take the land. They don't pay for it, nothing. They just go, this land's ours because we say it is, and we are chosen. Chosen for what and by who?
I don't believe that. I don't believe that last part. I don't believe that last part that she just said. I have seen I think that she's running off of false information, personally, because I've seen so much stuff of people in Gaza and people in the West Bank. Like I've watched IDF soldiers, like, because of Hamas and Hezbollah stealing the supplies that they give to the Palestinians. I've watched videos of Hamas lighting it on fire and throwing it in the ocean. Like, I've watched this stuff happen. I've watched Palestinians praise and thank the IDF for bringing them supplies and giving them support. So I don't know where this is coming from.
Okay. Demons do this, not good people. Just to be clear, in case it was not clear where I stood on this issue. Just a producer's note. They wrote that Barr did not visit Epstein. So that is not true. The New York Post reported on it that he did, and then they retracted the story. That's weird. New York Post especially. Do you want to pull that up? You said you have the Newsweek article. The visit did not happen. The claim comes from a now partially retracted New York Post story.
How convenient.
In which a mob informant, Louis Cosman, suggested that Barr had visited Epstein's jail about the time that Epstein was found in his cell with bruises around his neck. Cosman said, the Attorney General never visits jails. Something's not right there.
Somebody went in there and choked that man to death.
That's interesting. Okay. I don't know what to believe. I don't know what to say about that. We'll just read it to you as it is.
Either with the bare hands or with a rope or something.
Yeah, the story was repeated by other news
sources.
Sure
didn't hang himself.
More explicitly concluding that what the Post had reported. However, as later noted by the Post, there was no evidence to support Cosman's point. So essentially, this is just disputed. They can't say it didn't happen. Just say it's disputed. That's it. New York Post has removed the reference to Barr, and I guess now they're ignoring the mob informant Louis Cosman. Very interesting. Why would this guy say that? Did he think that he would get away with lying about the Attorney General? Who knows? Anyways, we fact-checked that for you live so that you could see. All right,
Oh,
guys, that is all
gosh.
that we have for today. If you'd like to support my journalism, independent journalism, please head over to CandaceOwens.com. While you're there, you can pre-order my book. You can buy a T-shirt. You can buy a hat.
You are a bag chaser. Oh, my gosh.
In the dark, which is fantastic content.
How many pennies have I given you alone in the last 2 hours, Candace?
Parents to be.
Golly!
That are parents currently to learn about the entire childhood vaccine schedule because Big Pharma is poisonous and lying to us about history. That seems to be a running theme on the show. We are being lied to about history. It seems like, if they're like it's all just one big show. That is what I will say over and over again. Anyways, you guys, we'll see you tomorrow.
Oh my gosh. Well, this is very interesting. I don't know what to make of all of this. This is a lot. Yeah. This is very, very interesting stuff. I'm very, very glad I reacted and watched. Thank you guys so much for watching. I don't know how many people we had in here. My Twitch chat is still frozen, so apologies if I didn't respond to anybody. I do have to be clocked in 31 minutes, and I need to shower. Thank God. I live very, very close to my place of employment. Unfortunately, don't do this shit full time just yet, but hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will get home tonight, and I will begin editing this to post it on YouTube. I will catch you guys in the next one. My name has been TJ Extra Putin. I hope you have a very, very wonderful day. Thank you so much, JG2, for the W stream. Have a great one, and I will be live as soon as I can next time. So I will catch you guys in the next one. Deuces.